Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, June 1st, 2019. This is episode 1596. Enjoy. Oh, hello. How are you? Hey. It's time for the Tech Guy Show. Leo Laporte here. This is the show where we talk about computers and the internet and, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. The phone number, 888-827-5536. If you want to call, I'd love to hear from you. Website is techguylabs.com. You can go there because that's a good place to, if you hear something on the radio, we write it down. So links and stuff, answers to questions, even audio and video from the show afterwards. techguylabs.com. Do I have to disclose now that Google has given me a free pair of socks? This might color my Google coverage. From now on, I have local guide socks. Google, have you noticed this on the maps that try to encourage you to answer questions? And I'm a helpful guy. And, they say, well, hey, you were just, at the Cromwell Hotel. Do they accept dogs there? And I will, answer those questions if I can. And that gives you Google Guide points. And I guess I got enough Google Guide points. I'm not trying to help Google. I'm trying to help the people who use Google who have questions about. I got enough Google Guide points to get a pair of socks. One size fits all, bright blue. Okay, thank you. Anyway, now you know if I give unduly fair coverage to Google, it's because I got some free socks. So there. Actually, Google's in kind of a bit of a pickle. These days. The Department of Justice, Europe's been going after them for a while. In fact, they paid the largest fine yet in the history of the GDPR, $5 billion to the EU. Now, the Department of Justice is preparing, according to the Wall Street Journal, antitrust investigation. Probe would closely examine Google's practices related to search other businesses and whether they gave Leo socks. A bribe, a palpable bribe. So an investigation is not an accusation. In fact, this is really kind of typical Wall Street Journal fare. They don't like Google. You know why most newspapers don't like Google? Because the internet's giving them the fits, and Google, traditional publications never have liked Google much. Except, it's too bad because, frankly, the only way you generate traffic these days on the internet is through Google. Most of the troubles that afflict Google in Europe come from big publishers like Axel Springer in Germany who complain to the European Commission constantly about Google. I don't know if Google's a evil monopoly or not. I think it's more complicated than that. Now, antitrust is scary because that implies maybe the chance of a breakup, not just a fine, but a breakup. And certainly some presidential candidates have been calling for that. Elizabeth Warren says all the big tech companies, Google, Facebook, Amazon, even Apple, should be broken up. I have to really think about this. I think the problem with breaking up these companies is the consequences, the unintended consequences could be dire. I've always criticized Google. I've never been really thrilled about them getting into the content business. They're a great search engine, and I don't mind them selling advertising against search. That's how they, make it work. That's how they monetize it. We don't pay them for search. I don't really mind that. When they did Gmail, I started using it. I thought, that's really cool. It's free, but then you realize, it's free because they're gathering information about you so they can advertise to you better. I don't know. Is that a bad thing? I don't think it's a bad thing, but I stopped using Gmail because, I thought maybe privacy would be better elsewhere. And then Google bought YouTube. Now, that kind of did start to bother me because now Google's got a content site. They don't even make the content, right? People put the content there, but Google makes the money on the content. And now, whenever you search for something, YouTube shows up often at the top in a special bar. Look at these great videos we've got. Google says, well, it's only showing up there because they're popular. It would show up there on any search engine. But you have to wonder. And I guess that's my problem a little bit with Google, is they start to blur the lines when they're making content, so hosting content, and then hosting search. So I guess if you made Google broke it up into a couple of different companies, maybe a search company, YouTube, then I might feel a little bit better about that. But I worry, maybe this search wouldn't make enough money to continue to be the best search in the world. It really is the best search, isn't it? You use Google? There's others. Bing, that's Microsoft's search engine, which, happy birthday, Bing, is now 10 years old. Bing has a third of all search, but I think that's more by accident than intent. I think people, when they're given a choice, people choose Google. Now I'm a little worried because Google is going to modify Chrome. This is concerning. Chrome, which is their browser, they give it away, right? It's free. In fact, the Chrome project's so successful that a good number of other companies make browsers based on Chrome, or the open source version of Chrome, which is called Chromium, which is still, what Google has given us. Even Microsoft now is going to base their browser on Chrome. Well, now Google says they're going to restrict ad blocking on Chrome. Unless you're a business user, you won't be able to use your ad blockers. I use an ad blocker called uBlock Origin. It won't work anymore. Is this for security? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. But remember, Google's an ad company, and they're in the ad business, and they're going to block ads. Well, that's interesting. They're going to block ad blockers. Sorry, they're not going to block ads. They're going to not block ads. I use and I love a Chrome-based browser called Brave that's all about privacy. Blocks not just ads, but blocks things like those Facebook and those and the Google bugs, the little images that you see on pages like us, which tells Facebook when you visit that page, that Leo just visited that page. It blocks those: LinkedIn, Google, Twitter, and Facebook. I like that. So maybe Brave is the future. But maybe, maybe these kinds of things that Google's up to, maybe these aren't the best way to make friends in the Justice Department, huh? I don't know. Maybe there should be a little investigation of the Goog. Maybe. Apple's going to have a big event on Monday, the Worldwide Developers Conference. And in all likelihood, this will be important not just for developers, but for the rest of us, especially if you use Macs, because the world seems to expect that Apple will announce a new Mac Pro. What? A Mac Pro? We haven't seen a Mac Pro in so long. 2013, they announced the Mac Pro the last time. 2013, that's 6 years ago. I bought it. That was a mistake. Terrible. Terrible. Even Apple admits, 2 years ago, they brought in some tame members of the press, because Apple doesn't like the unruly type. And the tame members of the press, they sat them down. They said, we made a mistake. We designed ourselves into a corner. We made this Mac Pro, and it can never be upgraded because of heat problems. So we have to start over. So we're going to have a new Mac Pro, but it won't be next year. Won't be this year. Won't be next year, which leaves us this year. And that's where we hope, some people hope, a new Mac Pro will come out. I actually am now weaning myself off of Apple products. I am. I feel like they're not as innovative as they ought to be. They're underpriced. And if you buy an Apple product because you say, well, at least they're private, maybe you ought to read the big, long expose from the New York Times, another hereditary enemy, by the way, of tech companies. But a big, long expose from the New York Times on what happens when you install apps on your iPhone. All that privacy that Apple supposedly gives you, out the window. Out the window. Guy who wrote the article said, my phone was connecting to dozens of apps overnight. In the middle of the night, it would be sending information about where I am, what I'm up to over the internet. No. So I guess you could say an iPhone is secure and safe and private as long as you don't install any apps on it. But what's the point of that? 8888 Ask Leo. That's my phone number. We can talk. Let's talk. You and I. I'm your friend. I'm your buddy. I'm your pal. I'm not representing. Even if I got Google socks, I'm not here to represent the Goog. I'm here to represent you. You don't have to give me socks. I care about you. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Let's talk tech. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our show today brought to you by. If I were that easily sold that socks, could win me over, that would be a bad thing, I think. That would be a bad thing. A couple of dollar socks. I need more than that. If I'm going to be bribed, I need more than that. She's unbreakable. It's a miracle. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you our phone angel, Kimmy Schaffer. Kimmy, don't take no schnaffer. Hello, Kimmy.
I'm afraid one of these days the wrong thing's going to come out of your mouth.
Schnaffer. No, I'm a highly trained radio professional.
You are. And Damien's got a dump bucket.
He has a
bucket,
button.
A dump bucket.
He's got a button he could press. Damien, keep your
hand on
do you
the button.
Keep your finger on the button the whole show, Big Pee Wee? I bet he does. He's always ready. You never know. The only time, have we ever? I don't think we've ever had to use that, have we?
I think a caller maybe
once
let something slip once.
But I think it was let something slip. It wasn't.
I don't even think it was fully intentional.
No, we love our callers.
It's just the way we speak in real life.
That's right. That's right. And I do podcasts where no FCC rules apply, but I still try not to say bad words because
I think
I want children to be able to listen without hurting their little ears.
Yeah, I think if anybody slips up, it's some of your guest panelists.
Well, they often swear.
Yeah.
Because they're godless heathens.
Well, and you've been in this business, like you said, a long time.
Yeah.
And
you learn.
I've learned that in the confined studio, you try not to say
anywhere there's a microphone. But wait till I get home, man. Then I unload.
Let it fly. Well, and I work in a bar the rest of the week.
Oh,
I'm surprised I can control myself at this point.
Yikes. So you've been here since the wee hours of the morning.
The wee hours.
Happy June, by the way, June 1st.
Yeah. We're halfway through already.
Halfway through what? June?
Well, the year.
Oh, the year. God, you scared me. We just got here. Can't be halfway. Yes, we are almost halfway through the year. Yeah. Summer's almost here.
Anyway, we've got Mike in Santa Ana trying to watch YouTube videos and getting some pop-up. You were talking about Google. So
this might be.
Google, but he's getting a warning that he needs to sign into Google Apps or something.
Yeah, I'm seeing that lately too. I don't know what that is. Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
But I'll talk to him anyway.
Line 3.
Hey, Mike. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thanks, Kim. Hey, Mike. Are you there?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, this has been frustrating for a really long time. At first, it was sort of, well, that's just the way it is. But then recently, it's been getting worse and worse. I work strictly off a laptop. I don't have a flip phone. Well, I have a rotary dial flip phone, but that's all.
Okay.
So this is pure laptop.
Yeah.
And somebody will send, like on through Facebook, I'll get a link. Somebody will say, this is a great thing, you need to watch it. So I click, and then it comes up and it says, this video is restricted. You need to sign on with a Google Apps account. I have no idea what that is or what. And it's not all YouTube videos. It's only some.
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot lately, too.
Yeah, mostly the ones I really want to watch.
Yeah, I don't understand what Google. What is Google up to? I don't know.
Is that something you've heard of before?
I see it. Yeah, and now I have a Google Apps account. So, and you're doing this at home, right?
Well, out in Wi-Fi land, yeah.
So I think that maybe it will be that so what I think has happened is that if you're not logged in, okay, to Google, it doesn't know anything about you, right? And I think some of you can set some videos for age restrictions.
Yeah.
So
these aren't those. These are like.
Well, maybe what I'm saying is the creator can set restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that this is a case where the creator of the video is saying, boy, I got to keep my YouTube socks in mind here. I don't want to say anything bad. No, I'm just kidding. The creator of the video is saying, no, this video is limited to certain ages, or I don't know, maybe geographic restrictions. I don't know what the kind of restrictions are. But when it's saying you have to sign in, I think it's saying, I want to know who you are to know if you're of age.
Oh, okay.
So those are restricted mode. Do you have? Everybody has a Google account. You have one, I'm sure, right?
I must, because I go on Google all the time. Well, now and again.
So next time you could actually just go right now on your browser to YouTube and sign in. There's a little, sign in up in the upper right-hand corner. See if you're logged in. See if you see your picture there, right?
Okay. Maybe that's it. I don't think I've signed in to
that's
YouTube
right.
at all.
And remember, when you use a different browser, the sign-in, it puts a cookie in your browser that's only for that browser. So you might have to, if you use different browsers, sign in different browsers. There's also, I think the cookies probably expire after a while. I've noticed this a lot lately. I guess YouTube creators now are putting more restricted content up, or this is what I think Google has been getting such heat from all over. And now, of course, this Department of Justice antitrust thing. And then parents saying, oh, my gosh, the videos you're showing on YouTube, kids, those aren't kid appropriate. And then, all sorts of stuff. They have YouTube stars saying reprehensible things, lighting mattresses on fire, all sorts of crazy stuff. So Google's gotten a little jumpy, I think. And so they may be just getting a little more careful about making sure you're signed in. Because guess what? When you sign in, you also agree to all sorts of stuff in the fine print. And so as a signed-in user of Google, you have now agreed to many things. And I hate to say it, but there's also this benefit to Google. If you're signed in, they know who you are, and now they can collect information about your viewing habits for recommendation purposes and advertising purposes. So get ready, because my guess is this is going to become more and more the case, and not just with Google, that in the internet up to now has been fairly anonymous. But it's going to be less and less so, because people are trying to collect information about us so they can do all sorts of things, including sell that information. So get ready. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, and of course you have geographic restrictions. But I think Google's getting more finicky. That's what I think. I think this is a Googly thing. We're going to get Scott Wilkinson on the horn here. I have not tried Arco. I'm kind of now very happy with Pop OS. Computer cookies all cookies are set with an expiration time. Sometimes that time is so far in the distant future that it doesn't matter. But it can be set to a week, a day, a month. So yes, cookies do expire. Most cookies have some expiration. Scott Wilkinson is here. He's amazing. He's our TV guru, our home theater geek, contributor at techhive.com, reviewer of many things. Have you reviewed, I'm curious, the Anchor earbuds, the wireless Bluetooth earbuds that Anchor's selling? They're down to $45.
No, I haven't gotten to those yet. I've got a whole
I know you're the king of the
bunch.
cheapy headphone, but these Anchor Soundcore wireless earbuds are...
I might very well have them in my list.
Yeah, they're about a third the price of the Jabra Elite, actually a quarter. They're very inexpensive, and I just saw a sale that were down to, they're $60 list, but down to $45. Yeah. And I thought, that's probably, instead of getting $250 Power Beats or $150 AirPods or $200 Jabra Elites.
Yep.
What about these? Well, anyway.
Well, I'm going to look and see if they might
see if it's
very
in
well
your
be
pile.
in my stack. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, these are the ones that have the charger case.
Yeah, several. I've now looked at several that do, and I think that's a wonderful idea.
I think you got me thinking with these. What were the name of those?
Oh, RevoNext QT5.
The RevoNext, which are $35 for very, very good sounding wired headphones. And it made me think, I think a lot of these guys are overcharging.
Yeah, well, the true wireless ones have a lot more technology in them. I mean, they have to not only have good reproduction, but they also have to have Bluetooth radios and all that kind of stuff. So it makes a little sense that they're a little more expensive.
Yeah, but
maybe
Anchor's selling them for $45. I just don't get it, right?
You've just disproved what I just said. Yeah.
Somebody's figured it out. Anyway, enough. I just, you know me. I like to derail the conversation. So
sure. No,
what's up for you with you here?
Well, I wanted to mention that since I was on the show last, Vizio announced its 2019 lineup, and it looks very impressive, especially its TVs.
Oh man, these Vizios are great, aren't they?
I know. They've taken. Remember, several weeks ago we talked about quantum dots.
Yes.
Which are these little nanoscale particles that basically yield a brighter picture with a greater range of colors, what's called a wider color gamut.
Yeah.
Now, Vizio's been using that in its top-of-the-line TVs, but this year they are migrating that technology down into their midline. So it's really quite remarkable what they've done while maintaining a surprisingly affordable price point. They've now developed their top of the line is now called P series or P Quantum X, which is, okay. X is so common in model numbers. I'm going to write an article about that someday.
Yeah.
But they have gone to their top of the line now. The PX comes in 65 and 75 inch. It's gone up to a peak brightness of 3,000 nits, which most TVs get to at 1,000, maybe 2. They're now at 3, which is super bright. But it's really important for high dynamic range. And it's not meant for, the entire screen blasting light at you so that you need your sunglasses. It's for those little tiny reflections off of chrome and that kind of thing, things called specular highlights. So they've got, and the brighter those can be, the more realistic the picture looks and the deeper the depth. Because when you're out in the world and you see a reflection like that, you really have to squint. And so we want TVs to reflect or reproduce what we see in reality. So they've gotten a lot brighter. The color range has expanded even more. And Vizio always uses what's called local dimming. So there are LEDs behind the screen, and the LEDs brighten or dim depending on what's on the screen at that moment, which gives you greater contrast when you're looking at it. And the new TVs, these new PX series and even the P series, the next step down, each LED is its own local dimming zone, which makes for very precise local dimming and therefore greater sense of contrast without haloing or kind of haloing around bright objects on an otherwise dark background. Check out the prices. The 65-inch PX, $2,200.
Wow.
And the 75, $3,500. So other than, say, a TCL, and I don't even know if they make a 75-inch. I'd have to look into that. But a 75-inch, 3,000 nit quantum dot based TV for $3,500, that's pretty remarkable if you ask me.
It's amazing. Vizio, I'm glad to hear Vizio's still around and still doing well. I was a little worried for them a little bit, but they seem to have survived, and they're not. Now, what about Chinese tariffs? Are they affecting TVs? Vizio is a California company, but they make them in China, right?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. That could very well be a factor. I honestly don't know where they're making them.
We haven't seen the tariffs hit the TV prices, I guess.
TVs yet.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Huh.
Still, Vizio is a company to watch, in my opinion. I mean, they're a little more than the TCLs and the Hisenses of the world,
right? Which
definitely will be affected by the tariffs eventually.
They're Chinese companies,
They're Chinese companies.
Yeah.
Now, they may, narrow the gap with Vizio if they're not affected by the tariffs. I don't know. I'll have to do some research into that. That's actually a very good question.
Yeah. It's such an unknown right now in terms of what's going on that we don't.
Yep.
It's hard to know whether prices will be affected. If you knew that there were going to be $300 or $400 increases in the cost of a TV due to tariffs, then you might want to buy them now. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I knew more. I think that's maybe next week you can figure that out and tell us.
I'll give it my best shot,
because that might really impact your buying decision.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
When do the new TVs come out?
They
Soon,
should be.
right?
Most of them are out now.
Now, okay.
The new Vizios, anyway.
Okay.
A couple of them, I think, are due later, but most of them are out now.
Do you have a favorite brand, or are you agnostic?
Well, I'm pretty agnostic. I personally generally prefer OLED over LCD, which these are all LCD TVs.
Yeah.
Although with the high zone count in the local dimming and the very high brightness and so on, I'm looking forward to checking one of these out.
I guess we could agree, if you can darken the room fully, OLED is really a nice experience.
Oh, seriously nice.
But if you can't, and most people can't, I mean, most people have, it's windows.
They have it in their living room and they're watching during the day, right?
Then LCDs are going to really be a brighter choice and do better in that kind of.
We're gonna find that out next week. A week after next is the flat panel shootout, which I'm going to be the MC of, as a matter of fact. And we're going to be looking at LCD and OLED TVs side by side, fully calibrated, looking at the same content, and we're going to be judging them on day mode performance, that is with ambient light, as well as what we call reference performance in the dark.
So Scooter X has come up with this.
Yes.
Quote, Sony and Vizio are the two major clients for Foxconn in the U.S. Foxconn has been assembling U.S.-bound TVs in Tijuana, Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunately, tariffs there have just begun or are about to begin and may even go much higher.
Yep.
So
it's all up in the air right now.
Holy cow. Find Scott. Holy cow. Find Scott Wilkinson. We thought we'd avoid the China problem by making them in Mexico. Oops. TechHive.com. That's his website where he writes all kinds of reviews. And, of course, he joins us each week. He's our home theater geek. More of your calls coming up. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So you might get double tariffed because the components are made in China.
And they're
shipped to
assembled in Mexico.
All right, all yours, Scotty.
Thank you. By the way, Leo, just FYI, I will. My vacation was actually in two parts. The first part was in Santa Cruz. The second part come next week. So
that's fine. We expect this. It's summertime.
I won't be here next week, but the following week I will report on the flat panel shootout.
Excellent.
And that's going to be really cool.
Excellent. Yeah, that happened last year too, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then I'm taking a vacation someday.
Wait, didn't you just take
October.
Oh, October.
Didn't I just... What do you mean, didn't I just take one? Did I? I don't remember.
Well, yeah.
Did I just take
you were gone for a couple weeks. Rich was there.
Oh, yeah, I did just take a vacation. Yeah, I was in Hawaii, of course.
You were in Hawaii. That's
no, I'm
right.
not going anywhere for 6 months.
Right, right. Yeah, neither am I after this. But my wife and I are taking a driving
That's
trip
great.
thwe New England.
Awesome.
Which is going to be great. Yeah, Boston, Maine, Connecticut.
Oh, that'll be fun.
It'll be really fun. Yeah. And then we end up in New York. She flies home, and I go do the shootout.
Wow.
Yeah.
How fun. The shootout's in Scarsdale or somewhere, right?
No, she... the store that puts on the shootout or that sponsors the shootout is in Scarsdale.
Scarsdale, yeah. But they don't do a shootout there.
No, they do it during CE week, a larger, sort of a micro CES.
Ah, got it.
At the Javits Center.
Oh, fun. So it's in Manhattan. No, you'll have fun.
That's great. It'll be fun. It'll really be fun. So, hey, everybody. Let's see here. I got a couple of questions here. Have I reviewed a micro LED TV yet, Friendly Manitoba? No, I have not. I'm really looking forward to that. They basically have to be mounted on a wall. So reviewing them is tricky unless you go to the manufacturer. Let's see. Captain J asks, I want to put a TV in my covered Lania. Is there a TV that can stand up to the elements of the outdoors? Yes, there is, as a matter of fact. There are several. Sunbright, I think, is one company. If you just Google outdoor TVs, you'll find several. And they're waterproof and seriously shielded. They've got some extra optical layers on the screen to shield them from direct sun. I mean, that's only going to work so far, but not 100%. It's going to eventually degrade if you have it exposed to direct sunlight all the time. So don't do that. But Sunbright. I'm trying to think of the other company that I know of. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Somebody earlier had asked, Dr. Mom Grandma here. I just got one of the 55-inch Quantum Dot M series for the bedroom. Very happy with the picture. Good for you. Yeah, like I said, Vizio migrated Quantum Dots down into their midline, the M series. So that's quite remarkable. And if you just got one, then obviously that one's out. I'm pretty sure the PX and the P are also out. Those Vizio's doing some remarkable stuff. Let's see. There was a question in here about, I've seen many TVs advertised. This is my tallest 42. I've seen many TVs advertised for super low prices with Roku or Fire TV. Opinions? Well, I love the Roku interface. I don't know the Fire TV interface as well, but I love the Roku interface. So if it's in a TV, then great. I have no problem with that. The smart TV platform has nothing to do with the performance or picture quality of the TV.
Scott, stick around for the top.
You betcha.
All right. See you in a minute. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So I can put you back to sleep with the smooth tones of technology talk. 8888 Ask Leo. Howard in Mission Viejo is next. Hello, Howard.
Hey, Leo. Thanks for everything you do.
My pleasure.
Recently purchased a Dell Desktop XPS 8930 and need your recommendations on some software, and I'm not opposed to buying it if the quality is better or for ease of use is better. Something to burn Blu-ray DVDs?
Yeah, so Blu-ray, do you want to make copies of Blu-rays? Is that what you want to do?
That and also probably use Adobe Premiere Elements is that still good for editing?
Yeah, it's good. So are the Blu-rays commercial Blu-ray discs or your own videos?
They would be my own. I'm not really worried about commercial ones.
Yeah, so once you get to that, then there's a whole another layer of complexity because you have to break the copy protection. But if you so you've got video on your hard drive and you have a Blu-ray burner?
Yeah, but the computer came with the burner, but there's no software to.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah.
Because usually it will come with software. That's weird. In fact, for years, Nero was get it while Rome burned. He fiddled. He was the emperor who fiddled while Rome burned. Nero burning ROM was by far the best known. But I don't know. I mean it's been a while.
I mean, I see a couple that I'm looking at. Nero Burn. I see Nero Burn Express. But I'm not sure if it does Blu-ray or not.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one thing you definitely want to check because a lot of these older ones will do DVDs, but not Blu-ray. Blu-ray is
okay. So I see a couple. Looking
Cyberlink for years has been around, and I think that anything that's relatively new will do Blu-ray. The one that seems to be getting great reviews is something called Blue Cloner, but I think that's not what you need because I think that's really designed. It's $60. It's designed for cloning, and I think that's not what you're doing. So if you're not burning, if you want to, I think Premiere. I think Premiere Elements will burn Blu-ray discs. Most video editing software. Let me just really quickly check.
I popped it up, but I didn't
see it.
I brought it up on B&H, but I didn't particularly see anything that said particularly Blu-ray.
Yeah, and don't pay more than $100 for it. It should be
cheaper than that. Yeah.
So it can burn DVD, but it can also export to Blu-ray, Premiere Elements 2018 and later. So get the latest version.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, and then you don't really need anything additional, and that makes sense because what you're going to do is take your clips. You're probably going to tighten them up, maybe put a couple together, that kind of thing. If you want something more, has more menus and structures and stuff like that. I don't know if Premiere will do everything that you want it to do, but Premiere Elements does burn Blu-ray discs if you have a Blu-ray burner.
Okay, I'll probably stick with that because I'm not going to.
That's the simplest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes people go and they take a lot of trouble and they make a menu and they make.
Right.
You don't need that. Extras, video extras. You don't need all that.
Sure.
You just want to make it easy to give somebody a copy of the videos, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. And also, I used to use Roxio, a software just to burn a regular non-Blu-ray DVDs and CDs and to copy those.
That's right.
Roxio's good?
Yeah, I like Roxio a lot.
Okay.
They're still around. I have a little trouble with almost all these programs because, unfortunately, they often put special drivers on Windows to make it so that it's easy to burn. And sometimes those can cause problems. I remember maybe 5-10 years ago, Roxio was a notorious issue. You upgraded Windows, all of a sudden nothing would work, and it turned out it was a Roxio driver that was on there. So just make sure you get the latest versions. I think you're better off. But it may be a little hard, but dig through when you get Elements, which is a really good Premiere Elements, which is a really good video editing package, the one I recommend. You might have to look through it, but it absolutely will burn both Blu-rays and DVDs.
Okay, and PDF forms, Acrobat, Adobe?
I don't know. I would stay away from Adobe for PDF.
Okay.
I don't know if it's buggier than other software, but because everybody's expecting you to have it, that's where the bad guys go. I like Foxit. Foxit.
I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, and it, maybe it's not as it's not more secure. In fact, there have been problems with Foxit, but it's just not as common. So the bad guys are always going to write the bad stuff for the most common programs, right? That's what they're going to go after. So I stay away from it. I try to put as little Adobe PDF stuff on mine. And remember, you can read with the new Microsoft Edge browser. You can read PDFs, but if you want to do forms or create PDFs, then Foxit. Or Qt FTP is another good one that I like a lot.
Okay.
Qt
and last
FTP.
question.
Qt PDF. Yes.
Oh, okay. Last question. I had installed. It didn't even come with a software to actually view a Blu-ray DVD. Although it came with the drive, but didn't. So I called. I called. Dell and everything. I got the 24/7, coverage and everything for that help. And they installed VLC.
Yes. Which is free.
I've used I've used for years. But it'll play a regular DVD. But when it goes to Blu-ray, it says Blu-ray error. This Blu-ray disc needs a library for AACS decoding.
Oh.
And your system does not have it.
Huh.
And they did put another software to burn it, to play it. And it's Power Media Blu-ray.
I see what's going on here. So this is copy protection, this AACS dynamic library. If you Google it,
okay,
you will find the way to get around that.
Okay.
So that's copy protection. Yeah, Blu-ray. So, when the Blu-ray committee got down to making this new Blu-ray format, they said, we don't want to do what we did last time. They made DVDs with copy protection, but a high school kid who has since, he's now an adult, but since been named DVD John, cracked it.
Right.
Cracked it like within weeks, John Lech Johansson. And he's become famous as a result. So the Blu-ray guys said, well, we can't let that happen. So they put a lot more copy protection on it, and even the ability to rotate the Blu-ray keys and stuff like that. To my knowledge, they've never yet done that. They have the capability of doing it, but because they haven't done that, the existing keys are out there. It would be wrong of me to tell you how to find those keys. That's puzzling because when Apple was asked, why don't you make a Blu-ray player for the Apples, Steve Jobs said, because Blu-ray is a bag of hurt, by which he meant the copy protection. And I guess Dell has finally realized the same thing. Windows machines used to come with, obviously, with Blu-ray players because they came with Blu-ray discs, disk drives. But I guess they just didn't want to get in this whole thing. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. So, I think if you just do a little bit of a Google search, I'm sure.
Okay, we'll see.
I'm sure the answer will come to you oracularly. And just you're not. I got to point out, you're not making a copy of these discs. You just want to watch them. So come on, guys. He bought the disc. He wants to watch it. So that AACS key, you'll find it. It's out there.
Thank you, sir.
Unless they rotate them, because they have that ability. They may, at some point, but the problem is that would break every player. People would be a little irate, wouldn't they? Oh, our show today. The problem is you get into this world of copy protection, it's just never ending. It's just a never-ending story. You can't win in the long run. And now I give you the man of the hour, Mr. Scott Wilkinson.
Or at least the man of the 8 minutes.
Of the 8.5 minutes, all yours.
Thank you, Leo. Hey, everybody. Let's see. Nomad had asked for the best deal on a 50-inch OLED TV. As far as I know, there are no 50-inch OLED TVs, at least not consumer. 55 is the smallest, and the best deal there is going to be LG. Best deal is going to be the LG B8. I'm not 100% sure they made a B9, to tell you the truth. I have to actually look that up and see if they did, because that would be the one I would recommend. But I don't think they did. B9 OLED. Maybe they did. Yeah, there is a B9. Okay. Still, the C9 is the current model that I recommend, and because it has a better video processor. But if you really need to save money, then go with the B series, either the B8, which is last year's, or the B9, which is this year's. That's what I recommend for the best deal on OLED. And LG puts them on sale now and again. I don't know whether they are currently under their list price, but anyway, let's see. Virgil is asking, is there a difference between the letter designations for the LG OLED TV models? Great question. And the answer is, in terms of picture quality, only between the B and the C. Because traditionally anyway, and I have to verify this, I'm not 100% sure, but in the past, the B and the B series used a less powerful, less capable video processor. The panels, the actual OLED panels, are identical from the B all the way up to the W, which is their super swank, super flat wallpaper TV, basically. But they're the same panel. The only difference is in the video processing, and the only difference there is between the B and the C. Once you get to C, E, and W, the video processing is the same. Then the only difference is industrial design, is the bezel and the stand and the case. That's different from one to the other. But otherwise, the picture quality is virtually identical, except to the B. When you go down to the B, you have a less capable video processor. Now, does that mean it's horrible? No, of course not. I mean, it's still great. It's just not as good. So there you go. Wow, Patterson is prepping to work in the Best Buy TV department. I will be very interested to hear your experience working in the Best Buy TV department, because I don't know the solution to this problem, but the problem with Best Buy and Costco and any other place you go to buy a TV in a brick and mortar store, they have a wall o TVs and they're all misadjusted. They are all too bright and too blue because they're in this big showroom with giant Klieg lights overhead. And they have to be too bright and too blue to attract the attention of the consumer's eyeballs as they walk by. So there's no way you can accurately or truthfully gauge the performance of a TV in that situation. Now, should Best Buy and Costco and so on calibrate their TVs, or at least put them in movie mode, as I've said many times, to make them look better? My first impression is to say yes, but because of the environment, so much ambient light, much more than in any living room, it may not be a good idea. So that leads to the perennial question: how do you pick a TV? Well, price is one thing. I have to say, and trying not to be self-serving, that it's reviews. You want to read reviews from people you trust, that you know are going to give you a semi-objective, can't be fully objective, but a semi-objective evaluation of the TV's performance, because you're not going to get it in a Costco or a Best Buy. So I'll be very interested to hear your experience there, and whether or not, and how they think about that particular question, because it's a good question and a difficult one. West 3249, Costco is giving 15% back on LG OLEDs if you use Costco Visa card short-term offer. Well, okay, 15% is not bad. Swiftbird 0 HDR ? I don't know what you mean. Well, I don't know what your question is. If you elaborate a little bit, I might be able to help you. Twisted Mister, the brightest TV will sell the best. Correct. That's exactly right. Which means these new Vizios might very well beat out everybody else. I don't think Samsung has reached 3,000 nits. No OLED can get anywhere near that. Sony demonstrated a 10,000 nit prototype tech demo at CES last year, this year, but it was water cooled, and it was a prototype tech demo. It's not a product. Beatmaster is asking, do you think other brands will go the same route as Panasonic and other displays with Dolby Vision and HDR10 Plus? I don't know, but I don't think so. I would tend to think not. It's possible, I suppose. I mean, they both do the same thing. They both use dynamic metadata. So if you're using one, I guess the point of having both is, again, just to cover all your bases. I don't think there's very much HDR10 Plus content out there. I need to go update my knowledge of that. There's certainly a lot of Dolby Vision content out there, so I would want Dolby Vision for sure. And Panasonic, you can't even buy in the U.S. You can in Europe and Asia as consumer TVs, but they're only available in the U.S. as for professional color suites, used as what are called client monitors. And we're going to actually be evaluating the TVs at the shootout week after next for their ability or their suitability to as a client monitor in a professional editing suite. So that will be kind of interesting. Let's see, Maverick 56. I got 1 minute left. What TV do you recommend for most people that want great picture quality but don't cost over $2,000? I think once you get past $2,000, the difference in picture quality improvement is minimal. That's actually a very good point. And one thing we're going to do at the shootout is we expect there to be similar performance quality for all these sets, and we might end up with some ties. Again, what it doesn't cost over $2K. A lot of TVs don't cost less than $2K. Even the B series OLEDs. But I would say get a Vizio. That's all I would say.
Short answer: get a Vizio.
That's right.
Thanks, Scott. Have fun next week. We'll see you in 2.
Thank you. See you in 2.
All right. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography. We talk smartphones. We talk smartwatches. We talk all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. As I mentioned on Monday, day after tomorrow, Apple will have its big WWDC, Worldwide Developers Conference. One of 2 or 3, sometimes 3 times a year, Apple gets to, put its CEO on stage and its marketing people on stage and addressed not just developers but the whole world about what's new from Apple. The developers conference is kind of a little bit different because they tend to focus on what's new from Apple that developers would be interested in. So we know that, they released last week a new MacBook Pro, an updated MacBook Pro, and what I'm calling the last iPod. Yeah, Apple last week released a new iPod Touch. They hadn't updated the iPod Touch in 4 years. They released the iPod Touch, which features a processor from 4 years ago almost. It's the same processor as in the iPhone 7. So wait a minute, 7. We're at 11 kind of. So yeah, a few years back, there was the 8. There never wasn't a 9 though, was there? They went right to 10, and then the 10S. So yeah, it's the Bionic A10, not Bionic. It's this year's the Bionic. It's the A10 processor, which is fine. It's an iPod, right? But it's really what it is an iPhone minus the phone parts, and with a 4-inch screen. It's a small little doohickey. And I call it the last iPod, not the latest iPod, because I feel like this is probably the end of the line. They waited 4 years even to update this. 4 years from now, will there be a market at all for iPods? I think the natural market for the iPod Touch, I guess, is kids. Parents don't want to give a cell phone to kids, so they give them an iPod Touch so they can, play games and listen to music. But honestly, two things are happening. One is kids younger and younger getting cell phones because parents are realizing, oh, it's nice to know where my kid is and be able to talk to them and have them call me if it's an emergency. So maybe they ought to have a cell phone. The other thing that's happening, of course, is if you want them to have an iPod Touch, you can give them dad's or mom's old iPhone. It'll even be more up to date. Just take the SIM card out of it. They still, won't have any phone capabilities, but it'll still be exactly like an iPod Touch, only more recent, more up to date with a bigger screen. So I just can't imagine there's much of a market for these iPod Touches. I really can't imagine that. So I'm going to call it the last iPod. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe 4 years from now, they'll update the iPod Touch with the current iPhone processor. But at this point, who cares even? But the point I'm making is they've announced those two products last week. That means they're clearing the decks. They don't want people to be saying, well, where's the new iPod Touch? Not that anybody would. Or where's the new MacBook Pro at WWDC on Monday? No. If they talk about new Macs, maybe it'll be an iMac, kind of a high-end iMac for developers, but everybody's most interested, will they release a new Mac Pro? They haven't released a Mac Pro since 2013. They haven't updated it since 2013. Making people, they still sell it, a 6-year-old computer. I don't know why you'd buy it, but they still sell it. But making people think maybe Apple's given up on the Pro market. Maybe they have. Who knows? I've given up on understanding Apple, to be honest. The problem is they make so much money on the iPhone that it's hard for them to focus on anything else. They will announce a new version, I suspect, of Mac OS, but more interest about iOS 13. Dark mode, oh boy, that's it, man. That's a killer feature, huh? And Mac OS is going to come with something called Marzipan, which instead of being a tasty almond treat is in fact code that lets iOS developers put their apps for the iPhone and the iPad on the Mac, which is the beginning of the end. It's almost over for the Mac. It really is. Also, rumor has it, and it's widely repeated, that they will release a 31.6-inch 6K Pro display, or at least announce it. That would make sense to go with the Mac Pro, because the Mac Pro just won't be expensive enough. Let's add a $6,000 display. The most interesting betting line at this point would be, how much will a Mac Pro with this display fully configured cost? I'm guessing well over $20,000. And then the next question would be, and who's going to buy that? There are pros out there. There are people listening right now, video editors, photographers who have to have a Mac. They have to have a Mac. But I have a feeling that that group is dwindling rapidly. And it's hard for me to get too excited about Apple stuff. It's just so darn expensive. It's really become in fact, who was it said? I think it was it Google said we don't want privacy to be a luxury item. Apple is rapidly becoming a luxury item, isn't it? And one, even I, who have many luxury items, can't bring myself to buy. I just can't do it. We will see Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific. What will Apple announce? We'll find out. I think that pretty much is it right there, by the way. Let's see. Apple does have 1 billion active device users. And that's really the thing. I think that's where Apple's eye is drifting to. It's drifting away from the Mac. It's even drifting away from the iPad. It's drifting over to services, things they can get Apple iPhone users to pay for. With 1 billion people using more than 1.4 billion Apple devices, the thing that makes the executive suite rub their hands with glee is the idea of getting each of them to pay $10, $20, $30 a month for iCloud, for Apple TV Plus, for iTunes, for Apple Music, all of that stuff. 925 million iPhones in the world. Whew. Amazing. The rest are iPads. Wow. That's a gold mine for Apple. It's also an incentive for Apple to keep you in the Apple ecosystem, to discourage you, if you're using Apple products, to discourage you from using anything by those other guys, Google or Samsung. Ooh. Apple wants you in the Apple fold. In fact, they even went to Amazon, another kind of hereditary enemy, and said, look, we're going to let you sell Apple stuff, but we'll make a deal. You can only sell Apple gear if you sell original Apple gear from us. You can no longer support third-party Apple resellers. And Amazon said, okay, booting them off. Now there's rumors Amazon's about to boot off all the little guys, not just Apple resellers, but all the little guys in the Amazon marketplace, due to, they say, concerns over counterfeiting. But this is good for Apple, right? Apple's always said, we don't like it that other people sell Apple stuff. We want to be the only people who sell Apple stuff. And I think they're going to get their way. They call it a walled garden for a reason. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number, 888-827-5536. Love to hear from you. If you have a question, a comment, a suggestion, love to get your take on tech. Our musical director, Big Pee Wee, has one other job in the world, to push that button. And he did. Well done. We'll take a break. Come back with more of your calls right after this. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, blowing in the wind. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Controversy, we're debating this in the chat room right now. There's a little controversy, and I think the one thing that will be most interesting on Monday with the Apple Worldwide Developers Keynote is when they talk about the next version of Mac OS, which won't come out to the fall. Will they talk about iTunes? Because apparently iTunes is on the chopping block, but you might say, well, wait a minute, if how do I back up my iPhone and my iPad? Well, and that's the problem with these rumors. It's hard to read into them. Some say they'll rename iTunes to Music. They'll add 2 new apps as well, TV and podcasts, separating out the TV and podcast function from iTunes, and then call iTunes Music. But if that's the case, then they still have iTunes. They just change the name. Or maybe there's a new music app, and then iTunes will be hidden in a folder. I've heard that too. Or maybe you'll be able to download iTunes if you want to use it to back up. I don't know. It would be nice to put a stake in the heart of iTunes. This is a program that has lived way too long. It just will not die. You haven't been able to see iTunes in a mirror in years. We'll find out Monday. It's always good to have some questions. Dr. Mom, have you left for San Diego yet with your sleeping spray and your thunder coat and your terrier and your dogs and cats?
Nope. This weekend we filled a 15-yard dumpster, and that's ready to go. All the stuff we've accumulated over 30 years.
You don't call it a dumpster if you're moving it.
No, this is stuff we're not taking.
Oh, good. You did fill a dumpster. Wow. That's a good feeling. So,
It isn't.
Dr. Mom fills us in on the latest from Amazon regarding its Echoes. And there's some good news.
There is. The first one, there's been this kerfuffle going on. People are suddenly realizing, gee, Amazon's recording what the device hears. No kidding. How do they think they know what to put down? Don't you want to buy this?
Right.
Well, there's been such a kerfuffle. They announced this week you will have a way of deleting the recordings.
Yeah, you could say, delete that last thing. I don't want to delete today's recordings, right? That's how it works?
No, it's better than that. What you do, fire up your Amazon A app, and I'll walk you through the steps.
No, just tell me. I don't have the patience. I hate that app.
You go to settings, then you go to the A account, scroll all the way down to where it says A privacy.
Yeah.
And then you hit review voice history. That'll let you delete individual recordings, but you can then enable delete by voice, and you can pick a date range of today, yesterday, this week, this month, all history, or a custom range.
All right, so you can say delete this month's recordings.
Correct.
That's good. That's what people need. Here's what you're going to see from all of these companies. You're going to see new ways to protect your privacy that no one will ever use. They know that. So everybody will be put to sleep. They'll go, oh, that's good. I can delete it. And then I promise you, only a few really paranoid folks will say things like, Echo, delete last month's recordings. We're going to remember to do that? No.
Well, what I do, I only browse in incognito mode. So it keeps that off the machine. But what people
I swear to God, this is what these companies are going to do in response to GDPR and increased regulation, is they're going to put in these buttons that no one will ever press because they know they won't. And they're going, everybody's happy. See, you get the choice.
But what you have to remember is it's still recording you. This is not stopping the recording. This is just letting you go in and delete it.
Well, to be clear, it doesn't record anything until you say the trigger word, and then it records that and everything else after that for a bit.
Correct.
But it's not recording, this right now, my day-to-day conversations. Although we do wonder, I guess the glass break, you talked about that last week.
Right.
They must be listening for are they listening for certain sound patterns? Maybe they are.
They're listening for glass breaking if you activate that function.
Yeah.
They're listening for the
But they're not recording.
Sound.
They're just the machine itself knows what a glass break looks like, I guess.
Well, when I went back and I checked the recording list, it said I heard glass breaking.
Yeah.
And such.
Well,
so
that's all right.
Do that.
Yeah.
And then they announced a new Echo Show Mini. I don't understand this one.
It's really small?
Well, the screen is smaller than the original first-generation Echo Show, but has the form factor of the new one, which is a triangular shape with the speakers on the side. I don't get it. The screen, to me, is too small to sit there and they're saying watch videos. It's too small.
Yeah. Well, the Google Home Hub is pretty small, and maybe that's why they saw a lot of people bought the Google Home Hub, I guess, which is like.
Well, it's also the price point is just under $90 right now.
This is direct. This is a direct competitor to the Google Home Hub. That's what this is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's trying to drop the price from what the show is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the same thing with a Home Hub. It's about $100. Well, safe travels, you and your dumpster and your doggy.
Well, we put up a blog. I'll put it up in the chat room, so if people really want to see my thoughts and everything as we're driving cross country, I'll let you know.
Are you going to bring an Echo plugged into the car so you can talk to your Echo on the way?
I still think that's vaporware. I have yet to see that being released. They keep saying coming soon, and the only people who've ever gotten it were people who reviewed it.
Ah. Well, you can still get the Rove Vivo, right? That has Echo in it.
Yeah, but it's something. I have my phone. I can sit there.
Who needs it? I know. Who needs it?
I don't know if you know. Amazon Music has a channel designed to put dogs to sleep.
Oh.
It's relaxing music for dogs.
Now you know you need it. And occasionally, do they occasionally like punk you and just put a little, I don't know, rabbit sound in there or squirrel chatter or something just to wake the dog up and scare him? That would be funny.
Oh, I hope not. I want these dogs to sleep most of the drive.
Now that I know that Glimpse is still around, I thought it was gone. I thought somebody bought it or they put it out of their business. You should glimpse your trip on the website, GLYMPSE. We can watch you drive.
I thought they were gone, too. Okay, I'll put it up.
I thought they were gone. I don't know what happened. They came back. You can't get rid of them.
They're like all zombies. They just keep coming back.
They just keep coming back. They never die. GLYMPSE.com. You could do a real-time map of Dr. Mom and the terrier and the doggy and the kitties going across the country. Good luck in your travels.
Well, thanks a lot. And I'll talk to you next time something new comes up with Amazon.
It'd be funny if the dog channel every once in a while just went, bacon. Go to sleep, puppy. Bacon. Thank you, Doctor. I amuse myself. Thank you, Dr. Mom. Thank you. Oh, it sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it? Traveling across the country with a bunch of animals in the back seat. Joey, San Diego, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Joey.
Hey, brother. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm always happy to talk to you.
Nice.
Hey, you just talked about it a little bit. I guess iTunes is changing its.
Well, we don't know. This is all rumor. Remember, we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out Monday, and it won't happen till the fall.
Okay. Because I'm very old, like you, Leo. Well, I'm not as old as you are.
Almost as old, huh?
Well, I like old music, so the millennials aren't going to have an idea what I'm talking about because I'll listen to the same song, more than once a week. So, but I'll put them in a playlist, Leo, and if I go listen to a podcast or something and go back to that playlist, it resets it all the time.
I hate that. Yeah.
Yeah. You
want to pick up where you left off. I think if you're going to put a bright light on this, if Apple does get rid of iTunes, that opens up a room for a world full of better music apps. Apple's iTunes has been horrible for years. And maybe somebody like Double Twister, somebody will come along and make a better app. That's all we can hope for. That's a good request. There's got to be ways to pick up the playlist where I left off.
Leo, you could do it with an audiobook.
Right.
Even on iTunes, you stop your book, you can come back later on, and it picks up right where it left off at.
That's a really interesting.
I've asked too. Went to the Apple store, and they look at me like I'm crazy.
Why would you want to do that? No, it makes that's I can totally. I don't want to pick up my playlist where at the beginning again. I want to even because probably
Leo, I live on my iPhone.
Yeah. So. And you and I have probably very long playlists. I have some playlists with 100, 200, 300. Some my classical music playlist has 1,000 songs. I keep hearing the same Pollywog's Cakewalk every time because that's the very first one. I don't.
Well, maybe somebody in your chat room knows something, or they figure.
Yeah, I'll look. It would be really nice if iTunes gets out of the way because that's what happened. Hey, Leo, there were a lot of music players and they killed it. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi-Fi music player. I heard you talk about them. Do you have a recommendation for one hi-fi music player? I know Fios, I think, was one that you liked.
Yeah, the Fios. Those I think have the best. They're the ones I keep buying. FIIO. They have very good headphone amps and very good digital analog converters. And those are the two things you're looking for in these devices. But there is a website. Headphones, or is it headphone? I can never remember. Yeah, headphones.com that make their own amps, headphone amps and stuff like that. And I wouldn't be surprised let me just see if they have a music player. They're really audiophiles there.
And can you go to that headphone site and get something that'll work with an iPhone? That'll help iPhone or make it better?
Yeah. Well, no, because no, you would want to put the music on it instead of the iPhone.
I really like iTunes, though. I mean,
well, you're going to... So, yeah, they sell... Get ready for this. They sell a player from Estelle and Kern, the SR15. It's $700, but it has dual Cirrus Logic DACs. It has... it has all this stuff. It's got 64 gigs of storage, and then you can put a micro SD card in. It can work as a preamp for digital audio over USB. But, yeah, the key on all of these is you put your music on them instead of on the phone. And you know what? Even though you pay $700 for this thing, it doesn't have as good an interface as an iPod does. That was what
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Now here's wait a minute. Here's another one. The Canon. This is also at headphones.com. N8 brass black digital audio player. Get ready for this. $3,700. Boy, it must sound awfully good.
I'll stick with my iPhone.
iPhone actually has very good DACs.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. That's what I was telling you that I like. It's not iTunes.
No. iPhone is pretty darn good. Yeah.
What is it? That music file format they got. The
AAC is very good. It's better than MP3.
Good.
But if you really want the best sound, and that's what's cool about a lot of these players, is you want to record them in a lossless format. Apple does Apple lossless or FLAC, and then there's full CD quality. So if you really care about your old music, that's probably a better way to do it. But man, these things, $3,700. Holy cow! Holy cow!
That's a lot, Leo.
You know why it's expensive? They use a Panasonic pyrolytic graphic sheet.
Sure. Hey, Leo, I got one other quick question for you.
Yes.
I have an iPhone. I got Sprint service, Leo. I'm so cheap. I got the best plan in the world, though. I get $30 a month.
That's cheap.
Unlimited talk.
Nice.
That's nice. You know, it has its limits, though, because one of the things I like to do is hotspot off my phone. And I can't do that now because of my cheap service plan.
Yeah,
and I don't want to add it because they're going to.
Sprint will charge you for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be like $70. I mean, that's. So is there a way that you can think of that you could do that without...
There used to be, I don't think an iPhone would allow this. On Android, there used to be apps that would do that. But eventually, the carrier will catch you. They'll figure it out. So I can't say those are usually very good solutions. And as far as I know, none of them ever worked on the iPhone because the iPhone's really locked down. You just have to pay for a better plan, I guess. You might ask Sprint if you could just add that to your cheap plan. Leo Laporte, ooh, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. Ooh. I always think of Windows 95 when I hear that song. Microsoft paid the Rolling Stones something like $1 million. I think it was $1.5 million for the rights to use that song when they launched Windows 95 because it had a start button. See, get it? Start me up. Start me up. Get it? Doug in Encinitas, California. Hey, Doug.
Hello, Leo.
Welcome to the show. I am well. How are you?
I'm good. Well, I got a weird one for you.
Oh, here's the voice again. It's the voice. I love this voice. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Doug.
Because of the podcast, by the way, I've only had about 700, but I think over maybe the next few months it's going to pick up.
Podcasts, it's one of those things you do for love, not money.
That's exactly right.
It was called DW's Good News. Was that the name of it?
No, it was Headline Minute with DW.
Headline Minute, but it is good news.
And I even put a bedtime story on there just for you.
Oh, nice. Well, now I have to download it. Headline Minute with DW. It's on Spotify. It's on Anchor. It's on Stitcher.
Everything.
It's everywhere. Just search
anyway,
for it. Yeah.
Get this. I don't understand this too well, but because of that, I needed a cell phone, a smartphone to monetize it. I was talking about Anchor, and you got to have the smartphone. I didn't need a smartphone. My wife does because she works nights, so I figured, okay, I'll just get.
They won't. You can't do it on the website. You can't turn on monetization.
You can, but you have to go through
a smartphone.
Wow, I can't remember the name. Some company they use that.
Oh.
You really need something.
So they want to pay you through Apple Pay or Google Pay. Probably that's how it is.
No, they don't. It's called Sprite or Mighty.
Oh yeah, Stripe.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, I hit on. I wanted a cheap phone, but I wanted a good one. So I headed over to Net 10, and I find this beautiful LG Rebel 3. It was a 4G phone.
Yeah.
And it was inexpensive, but it's a great phone. I mean,
good.
I know because I have it here.
Oh, nice.
It's a 4G LG.
Yeah.
Now, for 3 days, they tried to put a number in it. I couldn't get a number. And I'm going crazy. And I'm on the phone forever, so my phone battery's died. I don't know how many times waiting for these customer service.
Did you get it through Straight Talk?
Supervisors, etc.
Where'd you get it?
On the third day.
Yeah.
I get a supervisor who says, let me go talk to the engineer. Goes and talks to the engineer, comes back. He said, oh, we can't get you a phone number. I said, why not? They said, because we rent from Verizon, rent the tower, and they don't support that phone. I said, but it's a 4G. They said, yeah, but they went to LTE and they won't support it anymore. I said, what am I supposed to do? What about all the other people that have these phones? They suddenly died?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just step back and then go to Walmart. Now, what is this? LTE, 4G, what?
So LTE is the new technology, and this is a problem with getting an older phone.
2018.
Yeah, but I guess it and who was the carrier? You got it through Verizon? TracFone. Yeah, so you probably can take it over to the reason they said Walmart also supports this phone with their Straight Talk service.
Yes.
And so maybe if you moved it over there, they'd
send it back and get a refund and then go buy it, not something else.
Well, maybe that's the other solution. You certainly want a phone that supports LTE. That's odd that it doesn't support LTE. That sounds very odd.
That means that everybody that has one of these phones in this area,
that's happened. That's happened before. The early cell phones were analog, and at one point the companies said, "Okay, that's it. No more analog phones." All those phones stopped working. That's what happens if you had 2G. Same thing. Oh, your 2G phone stopped working. 3G phone's going to stop working. I don't know if that's universally or just on TracFone, though. That's the question. So you got to figure out if that's just TracFone. Maybe they're turning off their 3G antennas, but other companies, 4G, whatever. The other reason this is confusing. Yes, because for a long time they called LTE 4G, and for a long time they called 4G LTE. So they've confused this. It's their fault too. The phone company's making it very confusing. So I guess it's whatever they were using that they called 4G, they're turning off those radios. So, but that doesn't mean that's just TracFone. That doesn't mean other companies aren't. So you could take that phone to another company if it's not carrier locked. So that's one thing to ask TracFone. Is this carrier locked? Do I have to use it with you guys, or can I take the SIM out and put a SIM from another company in?
Yeah, I think you can. It's pretty obvious. You can just pull the SIM. In fact, I've already had it out and put it back in. So. Yeah,
but sometimes these phones won't work with another company's SIM. That's called carrier locking.
So I don't know anything about
you have to ask them that.
Try all the different
If
things.
it's not carrier locked, then you could go over to Straight Talk and just say, I need a SIM. Actually, go over to Walmart. If you get a nice person at the counter, say, look, I want to know if I can use this phone. TracFone's turning off 4G service. That's the only thing this phone supports. I want to know if I can use this phone on Straight Talk. I'll move it to Straight Talk if you can show me that. And they'll have a SIM. They can put the SIM in and they can see.
Well, they're always nice over at Walmart. I have no problem.
Yeah, they'll be nice. They'll be nice. I think that has to do with TracFone turning it off. I don't know if that's universal. It's coming, I suppose. Just as we move to 5G at some point in distant future, LTE won't be supported anymore. Companies don't want to keep the old-time radios going. So you can't get analog. You can't get 2G. In many areas, you can't get 3G anymore. Eventually, you won't be able to get 4G. I think 4G is pretty widely supported. It's really just what radios and what bands they've got turned on. I think that's just something TracFone's doing. So take it to Walmart. They sell that same phone, I know, for their Straight Talk service. And the nice thing about that is Straight Talks can run on T-Mobile or Sprint. It doesn't have to. So if one of those two does it, I'm pretty sure Sprint's doing 4G still. I think this is just something TracFone's doing. DW, thank you for the great podcast.
Yeah, are you still here?
I'm still here. I never left.
I had one thing I was going to ask you.
Yes.
I heard the other day that Adobe was dropping Flash, so you can answer that off the air. I don't care.
Yes, they are. Flash is dead.
I have something to tell you.
Flash is as dead as 2G.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Flash was a terrible
3D TV, and I got all these 3D, and I can't get a backup TV because they don't sell. Anyway, I got something to tell you if you don't mind.
Please.
Your screener told me to tell you.
Okay.
The other day, last week when the show was on,
yes,
I found it on Twitch. We were watching it on Twitch.
Nice.
Me and the wife.
Nice.
And you had listened to my demo, and you had all these wonderful things to say about the demo, and then you said, I wonder if he's a bad guy.
Like, why doesn't he get work with a voice that sounds like, with a voice like God? Why are you having trouble getting work?
Answer. Hold on. So I had said that I'm not working for 20 years because I stopped even trying. I just got out of it. And so you said, well, maybe he's a bad guy. That's an honest thing to think. I mean, that's fine. But I got this long face, and my wife laughed. She laughed so hard. And I said, what? And she said, we've been married for 30 years. We have yet to have our first one.
You're a good guy.
I'm a good guy.
Hey, some people with great voices are bad guys. You ever hear Orson Welles chew out the producer when he was doing that can of peas ad?
I've had a lot of tapes over the years from people on outtakes.
Yeah.
Art Linkletter, all of those things.
Art Linkletter. Who would have think Art Linkletter wouldn't be a nice guy, right?
Yeah.
Kids say the darndest things. Apparently Art might too. So here's the point. You should be working nonstop, DW. You're awesome. Your voice, you have a beautiful voice. Why would...
I'm happy just to,
You don't want to work, I understand.
No, I want to do things. I want to do in fact, because of your show, I got someone got in touch with me that has a podcast. You're gonna get a lot of calls. Everybody needs to go out and listen to DW and then hire him to do your next ad. There. I said it. I said it. They ought to go out and hire you. And I should have given the link, DW, again for the demo. I did get touched. One of the guys got a hold of me though.
Good. We're big in Hollywood. KFI, they all listen.
Yeah. Well, one of the podcasters got a hold of me to do his opens and closes.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's not going to be
free.
Big. Yeah, that's the problem.
It's not a paid thing, and I'm glad to do it. I'm glad.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, they're lucky. There was a guy used to do podcast voiceovers. He was okay, but he wasn't you. You could, there's no money in it. That's the problem.
Half the time, so.
Well, I just wondered. I thought, with a voice like that, with a voice like God, why aren't you getting work everywhere?
Well, when I moved down here from Tahoe, where I did a lot of things for Reno, Tahoe, and regional, it was so political. I mean,
that's
it was
the problem.
It's hard to even get to see these people.
I wouldn't even exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. They've got their 5 guys, and that's all they need.
Well, I quit. I said, the heck with it.
But you have a nice range. You can do a good variety of sounds.
Yeah. I'll come back to it.
It's discouraging to people like me because I'm thinking, well, when I retire, I'd like to do voiceover work. But that's, it's who you know, isn't it? It's not how you sound. It's who you know.
It is 100% who you know.
Yep.
And you have to have a name pretty much before they even put you on.
Yeah.
There are the utility guys, but again, you have to know somebody.
Well, you got a beautiful voice. If it were up to me, I would put you on all our ads, and then I could take a break.
Oh, I can do that.
And now, a word from God. You just say, buy this product. I will it. I wish it to be. What's your wife's name?
Lori.
Lori, you say he's a good guy. I believe you.
She's working right now. She works on Saturday.
Oh, you make her work, huh?
You'll hear this, though. I mean, we'll play the video. I'll play her the video.
Okay. Hey, it's really great to talk to you again, DW.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much.
You're great. Take care. Bye-bye. What's wrong with this guy? Why isn't he getting work? All right, we're gonna get DW some voiceover work. His website is grindshow.com/go/voice.html. You can listen to his demo reel there. grindshow.com/go/voice.html. He has a voice like an angel. 8888 Ask Leo. 888-827-5536. If you have a tech question, I'd love to hear from you. Frank in Palos Verde, California. Hello, Frank.
Hi, how are you, Leo?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, great. Thank you so much. You won't believe this, but my grandkids are saying I've got to come into the modern age.
The heck with them. What do kids today know?
Oh, yeah. Well, they're good, though. I'm 85 years old, and
nice.
I've got it.
Nice.
I used to be in the satellite business, but those days are gone. Help me with a stupid thing that you probably haven't heard in years. You take me from DSL to a high-speed internet. I've got Cox.
Oh, I get it. The grandkids come over, and your internet is too slow.
Well, that's my problem. They're coming over. It's Father's Day.
You know what I did? You know what I did for my mom? Because she wanted the grandkids to come over, I gave her an Xbox. I gave her a big screen TV. I helped her set up high-speed internet. The problem is the kids come over, they don't pay any attention to her. They're just playing video games. But, hey, at least they're there, right?
But, yeah.
Every 2 weeks, I sent her a giant trash can-sized can of popcorn for them. So you already have Cox cable, you said.
I have ability to get Cox, yes.
Yeah. So generally speaking, due to the sad state of the internet in this country, we have at best two choices. It'll be from the phone company or it'll be from the cable company. DSL's from the phone company.
I know.
It's limited by the technology. There's only so fast it can get over those two copper lines coming into your house.
Well, tell me one thing. What do I need if I want on-demand with my new Samsung 65-inch TV? And that'll satisfy the kids.
In theory, Netflix says 25 megabits downloads enough. I'd say 50.
Okay, 50.
50.
That costs me $59 a month.
That's right. It's about $60 a month for almost all cable providers to get a decent connection. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
And then don't forget to ask them, well, is there going to be a rental fee for the cable modem? They're going to end up getting you up there because...
Oh, tell me about it. I know.
They're good at that, aren't they?
My lady friend has Cox, and the prices have gone up, and I've negotiated, and believe me, they beat me every time.
I know.
But anyway.
There was once a poll of Americans, what do they hate the most? Yeah. And the cable companies came in above heart attacks. It's that bad.
Hey, could you help me with one more thing?
Sure.
I have an old HP laptop, Pavilion, a DVD, DV6 or something.
Oh, the grandkids are laughing at that too, aren't they?
But let me give you I use my iPad all the time.
Good.
As my wife says, it's attached to me.
Good. That's a much better device.
Well, I agree. Now, but I have personal stuff. I have, financial stuff. I don't want to go into the cloud. It may be stupid. But what do I need that I will use 5% of the time?
Well, you could go out and get a laptop, but let me tell you, in most cases, that cloud is going to be more secure than your laptop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if I send you out and you get a Windows laptop, now you have to become a security expert to make sure that you don't get hacked.
You're right.
Because the minute you get hacked, what's the first thing they go for? Passwords, bank account information, that kind of stuff.
And I have been hacked, okay?
Okay, well, you know. So I actually that's why I say the iPad's a better choice for most people. It's much more secure. There's something similar called a Chromebook.
Yes, I know. What about that? I've heard you mention it many times.
They're inexpensive. Acer makes a very nice one for under $500, but it's not Windows. It's secure. The problem is... Now you're going to have to use the cloud.
Okay, but I'll do it.
Yeah, so does your bank have an online site that you can use?
My bank?
Yeah, I mean, you say you want to do, what do you want to do with your laptop? What's that 5%?
Oh, I do. I'm very well versed. I'm an engineer, but I even ran an IT operation at one point. But the thing is, I go to the Bank of America,
Yeah, Bank of America has a very good online site.
Yeah, and I think the thing I do, it's not just that. I keep my personal finances on it, and I thought that was secure until you just told me.
No, but you remember, you were hacked, right? So
tell me about it, yeah.
So how secure is it? Often the professionals do a better job of securing the cloud than end users do at home. And by the way, as soon as you go online to the bank, you're going on the cloud. So, they have all that information in the cloud already.
That's true. Yeah, I use it. I use it all the time.
Yeah.
Okay,
there is a really nice program called Mint.
Mint?
Mint, MINT.com. It's free. It's from Intuit, same people who used to do Quicken.
I know.
Yeah, Mint.com. You can do all your personal finances in the cloud there. Here's the tip I'm going to give you.
On my iPad?
Yeah.
Really?
But you're not storing it on the iPad. You're storing it on Mint. Now, here's the tip I'm going to give you. You want to secure these sites, so you don't want to reuse passwords. You want to have individual, unique, strong passwords, not your grandkids' birthdays or anything like that.
Yes.
You need good passwords, and you need to store them. If you could store them in a book that you keep in your house, as long as nobody has access to that.
I can store them in the iPad.
And the iPad has password management through the keychain, so do that. And then there's another thing I want you to remember, a phrase called two-factor authentication.
Yes, I understand. No, I'm very well versed in that.
If you use that and you use strong passwords, you're more secure in the cloud than you are at home.
Okay. But what about if I want to type? I dictate a lot. I help a lot of people here on this peninsula. I give lectures and
Bless
things
you.
like that.
Well,
and I have organizations.
Can't you do all of that on the iPad pretty well?
I can do most of it. But
what can't you do that you need to do?
Well, I guess I can type.
Well, they have dictation. They have typing.
I do.
You can get a keyboard for your iPad. Apple sells them, but you can use any Bluetooth.
I can do that.
And that will give you a little bit better typing experience. I use Apple's Smart Keyboard. That's very nice. Then you can type.
That's fine. And what about when I like to use Excel? That is. They have a version of
They have a very good version of Excel. People, a lot of Windows users are mad at Microsoft because they made a better version of Excel for the iPad than they did for the Surface tablets.
Oh, okay. I guess I got to. I thought I had it.
And Apple also has one that is free with an iPad called Numbers that I think is even better than Excel. Unless there's
Numbers.
Numbers. Apple's got Pages, which is a word processor. Numbers, which is a spreadsheet. Keynote, which is their version of PowerPoint. It's a presentation. And so all of those come free with the iPad, and I think they're quite good.
All right. Well, you have been so great. I really appreciate. I love you.
You're more secure in that iPad. I bet you never got a virus on the iPad, right?
Absolutely not.
You're much more secure on the
iPad. One time they tried it and they froze it, and I got a hold of the Genius Bar there, and they showed me how to get rid of it. But that's the only time.
Yeah.
So you see now. Look, I was listening to you before, and you were sort of downing, a little bit down on Apple in general. But now you're saying that's where I should go.
Well, it's more secure.
I should really do away with my laptop.
Windows is not for normal people. Windows is for a company where you have an IT professional you can go to and say, hey, something's gone wrong here, and they help you.
I used to do that.
Yes.
Those days are
But
gone.
you know how hard that is to keep up with all that. You know exactly what that involves.
I know.
That's why you're smart enough to not do it.
Yeah, I am. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Great to talk to you.
Really helpful to guys like me, and I enjoy the rest of you too.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Oh, the grandkids are going to be very happy, aren't they? Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Yeah, time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches. Johnny Jett wasn't on this past hour because he is celebrating his birthday. His wife, Natalie, threw him a big party, so we'll talk to Johnny Jett, our travel guru, next week on the show. No, I'm sorry, tomorrow. He's going to be here tomorrow. Okay, we'll do it tomorrow on the show. But meanwhile, I can talk with you. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number, 888-827-5536. Toll free. Call us anytime. The website, techguylabs.com. That's where you'll find answers to the questions, video and audio from the show as well. techguylabs.com. Joseph from Orange County is next. Hi, Joseph.
Hello, Leo.
Hello.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Leo, I just wanted to comment on DW's voice. People have often told me that I have a face that's made for radio.
He has a voice that's made for radio.
Yeah. Seriously, though, what I wanted to get your thoughts and hear you riff a little about the future of automation. The reason is I'm an electrical engineer in Orange County, and I have more and more clients that are asking me to automate products so that they can get rid of their employees. And
oh, my goodness.
The end of all these things.
Oh,
For
my
example,
goodness.
You have the possibility now that we could have computer automated programs that could more accurately predict the future investments returns. And why would people use brokers anymore? Or, for example, doctors. Why would you go to a doctor if a computer automated machine could tell you the right time to conceive? Or, the final one, why would you have a politician when you could have a computer automated machine that couldn't be bribed or couldn't be corrupted and would always make an impartial decision? I'm going to hang up now and listen to what you have to say.
Great questions. Thank you for calling. I appreciate it. I'm going to refer people who are interested in this to a fantastic book. There are many of them. There's a lot of conversation about the future of work and stuff going on right now because we're all very concerned as jobs start to dwindle away. I mean, all you have to do is take a look at autonomous vehicles. Now, admittedly, they're far from perfect, and it may be another decade. Who knows? It may be, somebody once said the future is both closer than you think and farther than you might imagine. At some point, though, not in the too distant future, because some very smart people are working hard on self-driving cars, self-driving cars will be commonplace. More than 1% of the nation's workforce drives for a living. Truck drivers, cabbies, chauffeurs, that's a big portion of our workforce. Many of those people will be out of work. It's Uber's entire business plan. Uber loses money because they have human drivers, and there's no way to fix that except to get rid of the humans. And Uber's not valued at billions and billions of dollars for nothing. People believe that's going to happen. So the book I'm going to recommend is by a very deep thinker. He's a professor in Israel named Yuval Noah Harari, Harari. And he's written several really good books, but his most recent is 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. And he addresses exactly those ideas that you just mentioned. Well, I'll give you an example, the politicians. As AI progresses and becomes better and better, artificial intelligence, it is easy to imagine a near future where AI can correctly figure out how to do things, lay out a city, for instance, or build a building better than a human can. It could even figure out how to run a country, make political decisions better than a human can. But Harari points out that there is something we still need humans for. AI, as you know, because you're an engineer, AI doesn't work in a vacuum. It needs to be told what the goal is. So you can say, well, we want to lay out a city. We want you to lay out a city, but you need to say so that there's minimum congestion, minimum driving, it's walkable. You have to give it the goals, the parameters, and then it can solve the problem. The role of humans as the goal setters isn't going to go away. We need humans to decide what our priorities are. That's what we do, to decide what we want. And then machines can do the work. In medicine, we aren't there yet, but at some point it's pretty conceivable that machines will be better at diagnosing our ills than human doctors. Right now, a human doctor relies on her memory, for all the different possible diseases you could have and all the diagnostic information. She's basically a computer. And not a very good computer because memory is imperfect. A computer could do all that. We'd still need humans, though. We'd still need humans to give injections. We'd still need humans to tuck somebody in. We'd still need humans to hold hands. And we definitely would need humans to talk to us about what the diagnostics came up with and our treatment options. An AI could say, well, the best treatment option would be this, but I think you still need a human to communicate. So there's roles for humans. But the roles are shifting and changing. And I think I agree with you that artificial intelligence can do a great many things we currently do better than we currently do them. Driving is one. Diagnostics, medical diagnostics is another. Planning an economy, very likely. So the question is really what is humans' role? What is our human role in all of this? And I think even if we had perfect AIs, and we're far from that, as you know. But even if we had perfect AIs, and I think those days will come at some point, or at least close to perfect, there still has to be a human in the mix to tell it what to do, to tell it what our goals are, what we want, what we're looking for. Look, there's no question the world is about to change dramatically. It has been for the last 30 years. The internet has changed things incredibly. Social media has had consequences, far-reaching consequences no one ever predicted. We can see everything changing around us all the time. And that, I believe, the one constant is that change, not only is change a constant, but that it's going to accelerate. It's going to happen at a faster rate every year. You know, more things happened more inventions, more changes in our society and our way of life in the last 10 years than maybe in the last 100 years before that. So, and I think that's going to continue. So, I guess the lessons to take away from it are that AI is going to do a lot more than anybody imagines. It's really capable of a lot of things. And a lot of things like perhaps medicine that we think are exclusively the province of humans would maybe be better done by an AI, maybe even politics. But you're still going to need politicians and doctors. They're just going to have a slightly different role. We have to think about what that role is going to be, though, as time goes by. I think it's a fascinating subject. And I can't think of a better reference than that book. Yuval Noah Harari. He's a deep-thinking philosopher. He wrote Sapiens and Homo Deus. His most recent is 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. If you're interested in this kind of thing, very provocative, well worth reading. And he doesn't have all the answers, but he poses all the right questions, no doubt about that. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Let's talk some more right after this. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Pat in Los Angeles, our next caller. Hello, Pat. Leo Laporte here.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Pat. What's up?
I have a Google Home Hub, and I think it's being hacked. And I wanted to know if there's something I can do.
So that's a scary thought. So the Google Home Hub is that little screen, right?
Correct. And in the middle of the night, it'll turn on with music. I've had porn come on.
Oh, it has been hacked. You bet. So somebody has access to it, which means somebody has access. This is actually a greater cause for concern to your Google account.
Okay.
So if your Google Home Hub is doing stuff, do you have an ex spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend hanging around somewhere?
No, I haven't had a boyfriend in a couple of years.
So, because sometimes, that does happen if you shared your password or access with somebody. In order to do stuff to your Google Home Hub, just tell it to play stuff, they would have to be logged in to the Google Home app using your Google login. So, my strong suggestion to you immediately is to go change your Google password.
Okay.
And if you don't yet, this is really important. If you have a Google account, if you haven't given it yet a phone number, a recovery phone number, and a recovery email, not your Gmail, but a separate email, do that. And then the third thing everybody should do with a Google account is turn on two-step authentication.
Okay.
Because that way, if somebody even if they got your password, they'd need to get that text message sent to your phone, or better yet, have the Google Authenticator on your phone, and that 6-digit number generated by the authenticator. It's changed every 30 seconds. It's what we call a one-time password, and it's a really good way to secure your Google account. The password plus that special 6-digit code from the authenticator. But I am concerned. I'm just thinking... let me look at my Google Home.
Okay.
I think the Google...
Yes, I did put in I did put in the phone number and another account, a Yahoo account.
Good. That's for recovery purposes. And the reason that's good is, let's say somebody did give your password. Maybe even he's hearing this call and says, "Oh shoot, I got to change her password so Pat can't get back in." Then you log in and suddenly you try to log into your Google account. Your password doesn't work. If you hang up and your password's not working, that's scary. But fortunately, because you gave it a second email, which that person presumably doesn't have access to, or your phone number, which the person presumably doesn't have access to, you can say, "Hey, Google, I want to change my password. Send me an authentication code at that email or at that phone number." And only you will have access to this. So you can recover your Google account and then change that password. I don't think of any other way somebody could do that. Are you in an apartment where somebody could be on the same Wi-Fi as you?
I am. I'm in a condo, and I have a Belkin. It's kind of old. It's 5 years old, but I do have a router.
Yeah, that's conceivable. I'm trying to think of what capabilities the Google Home has, whether it allows... There used to be a way, and maybe this is what's going on, to let guests access your device to play videos, because young people will have fun sitting around listening or watching YouTube videos, and they want to share the device. And so look in the settings. I'm just seeing, make sure that you're the only home member. Okay, that's number one. I'm looking at my settings. And I'm checking to see if there's a setting that says share your device or let others play music on your device. If there is, turn that off. It could be your neighbor on the other side of the wall. And it could be, by the way, not even malicious. He might think he might think he's doing it to his device.
Got it.
Another way to secure this is to set up voice match. You teach the assistant to only listen to you.
Okay.
And that way, if somebody's shouting, hey, Goog, play some porn on Pat's device, it'll just ignore them. So these are all ways to lock down your home. That is disturbing. I think that's very disturbing. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. It's not that you're in the middle of the night in your sleep saying, "Hey, Goog, do something." It's not.
No.
Okay.
It just comes on. It comes on loud, and it's all kind of different rap music, and then it's porn, and I just.
Good Lord. That's terrifying. Yeah. Make sure. First thing I'd do as soon as you get off this call is go and change your Google password.
Okay. Got it.
All right.
This is weird. They can't see me, right?
No, because there's no camera on that device.
Okay, good.
Google is releasing a new device, the Google Home Max, that will have a camera on it, but there's no camera on the Home Hub. It looks like it's a camera, but it's just a light sensor.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it? I hope there's not a camera on that thing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to put up, so I unplugged it.
Yeah. Change your password and maybe even reset the device and log back into it just to make sure they can't get into it. That's weird. It doesn't seem like that should be possible. But I'm thinking of a couple of ways it might be. So lock that whole thing down. The worst case scenario is they've got your Google password. You don't want that. Definitely don't want that. Yeah, that's if somebody gets access to your Gmail, they get access to your life, right? John in San Bernardino, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, John.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
First, let me just say, may old cell phones never die. I'm calling you on a Nokia 5180i.
You know, the funny thing is that probably is better quality than a modern cell phone. Does it have an antenna or no?
It does. It has antenna you can pull out.
Yeah. They got rid of those in most modern phones because people didn't like them. But frankly, those antennas are better than any antenna built into the body of the phone. So
it's an excellent.
It sounds good,
phone.
Actually. It sounds great.
Anyway, I'm moving to a rural area of Pennsylvania shortly, and from what I understand, all the research I've done, the only thing available for internet service is going to be satellite internet.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh man! So there's no cable company out there. No.
The only thing I was hoping they do have a home phone service, so there's a phone line going out there.
Yeah, but if you're in a rural area, so the internet providing service that phone companies use is called DSL, digital subscriber line. But after 2 miles, it's basically useless. It slows down so much it's useless from the central office. So if you're in a rural area, you're going to get phone service, but data might not work at all.
I see.
Go to broadbandreports.com, enter your zip code, and see if there's any wireless internet service providers. A lot of rural areas have stuff like that.
I did see one other option for fixed wireless.
There you go. It's probably line of sight. It's probably microwave. If you can get an antenna, what's the but?
Yeah, that's basically it. I guess you have to be in fairly close proximity to a cell tower.
Yeah. Boy, this is the benefit. You're going to live in a beautiful part of the world. Horses and foxes and birds, but you're not going to. But internet, that's a problem. It's a real problem in this country. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Intelligence.
It's just rural, and the FCC has tried real hard to get providers to do this, but when their population density goes way down, it's very hard to get them to put out the kind of money to wire these areas.
Yeah, because they're not going to have paying accounts coming back.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's, in 5 years, Elon Musk is going to put 12,000 satellites right above you. Yeah. And in 5 years, in theory, we'll all have high-speed internet no matter where we are.
And it'll come via satellite.
Yeah, but it'll be much better than the Hughes or the Blue, Wild Blue or any of that stuff, because it'll be low Earth orbit. So latency will be much lower. It's only a couple hundred miles up. Now, if you have to get satellite, Wild Blue Exceed is the best choice out there, and it's pretty good. It's just expensive. You need a special equipment. There's usually bandwidth caps. It's not going to be anything like you're used to in Riverside.
Yeah, I live in the mountains, but I do have DSL.
Okay.
Broadband.
So you're used to slow internet.
Well, it's pretty good. I think I get 6 megs.
That sounds about right for DSL. Yeah. It's unlikely that at any point a provider is going to wire you, because it's just too expensive, because there's too few people out there. But wireless is going to be your long-term host, whether it's wireless from a cell phone carrier or wireless from a satellite. Or, it sounds like you have a wireless internet service provider probably using microwave, and so that might work. But
I think it's T-Mobile.
Then it's not microwave. It's just LTE. They talk a lot. You hear a lot of talk about 5G, but 5G is going to have the same problem in rural areas that wired has, because unlike a regular cell, it requires many more cells, about twice as many cells. So it's going to be the same issue. They're not going to wire rural Pennsylvania.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, it's really, it's up to the FCC. They had a broadband plan. They are trying to get money for rural internetification, and I think it's very, very important as more and more of life moves online. You're going to feel disconnected because things are going on you can't participate in.
Right. I mean, I do all my banking. I pay my bills online.
I literally could not move somewhere that didn't have high-speed internet. That's just an issue. Of course, it's my business, but
no, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm sure it's a beautiful country.
It is. It's where I'm going to retire. So
nice. Maybe you'll be happier out there.
That's true.
Maybe you don't need internet. And the good news is, over the next few years, I do think there will be some options. I mean, I think that's what this Elon Musk's plan is. I think there are going to be a number of companies trying to do this.
Yeah.
Starlink is going to be. They've already put up the first 60 satellites. They're on their way. FCC's approved 12,000. I don't know if that'll ever happen, and they hope to do that by 2025, but they'll have some capacity soon, the next year or so. So maybe that'll be your hope. Until then, Wild Blue. Yeah.
Wild Blue and my Nokia.
And your cell phone. Yeah. The sound quality is great. I talk to people on smartphones all the time. It drops out. It's horrible. Your sound quality is fantastic.
Well, good. This phone's like almost, 20 years old, maybe.
Yeah, of course. That's going to stop working soon, by the way. I'm sorry.
Do you think? Seriously?
Yeah, because they'll turn off the frequencies that are supported by that phone.
Oh, brother. Oh, well. Maybe I'll buy a smartphone.
Go to Exceed, EXEDE.com, and see what Wild Blue will do. It's usually speeds are pretty good. It's just pricey. All right?
I'll check that out.
All right.
Thank you so much, Leo. I
Take care.
appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. This really is an issue in rural America, and it's becoming worse, I think, as more and more of us move online. More and more of what we do in life is online, whether it's shopping or education or interaction or entertainment. It's all online, and there's a great many people in this country who don't have access to high-speed internet and are going to be left out. And it really is up to the FCC and the federal government, because you're not going to see companies wiring these rural areas. The population density is so low. If there's 5 people per square mile, and it costs $100,000 to trench out there and get a wire out to those people, they're not going to make the money back. They can't. So it's government investment, and maybe it'll be satellite. Maybe people like Elon Musk with his Starlink. I would never bet against Elon. It just seems it's a little optimistic. And there are already people saying, if there are 12,000 low Earth orbit satellites, they're going to be highly visible during sunrise and sunset. They're going to sparkle. Your night sky is going to change quite a bit. The FCC has approved it, though, and 12,000 satellites over the next few years supposedly will be going up. They're going to orbit those satellites at 550 kilometers. That's important because latency, which is the amount of time it takes a signal to get from your house to the satellite to the provider back to the satellite to your house, that's called latency, that round trip time. If it's too long, it's fine for email. It's even fine for surfing or watching Netflix. Not great for anything interactive like Skype. So they really want to get that latency down. And Starlink's claiming that they're going to have very low latency, landline capability almost. Should be interesting. Might change the world. David in Riverside, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, David.
Leo, hi. Thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm a self-admitted picture hoarder, and I have an iPhone. I take a lot of pictures, and I want to transfer them to my home computer, and I'm constantly having trouble doing this. Every time I do it, I want to I take thousands of photos, and every now and then I want to sit down and transfer them over to my computer, and I get an error message. I'll be halfway through transferring. I come back and it has stopped.
Oh man, that's a pain. How are you transferring them right now?
Well, what I do is I just plug in my iPhone out, and I don't have a Mac. I'm just using my Windows PC.
Okay, so iPhone via iTunes to a Windows PC.
I'm not going through iTunes. Maybe that's my
No. You can also so when you plug in your phone, a photo app, image app launches. Is that right?
Or
you just see it?
I see my iPhone. I open up the folders, and I either hit. I tried it 2 ways. I tried cutting and pasting, and copying and pasting.
Yeah. So
am I doing something wrong?
No. It's just Windows is not great at copying. So there is a Windows app. It's a command line app that Microsoft builds into Windows because Windows is so bad at copying. It's called RoboCopy. It's short for robust file copy, but you have to use the command line to do it. But see, the problem with the copy that you're using, whether you cut and paste or drag and drop, is it's not fault tolerant. So if an error happens or something doesn't come through in time or there's a pause, and maybe your computer got busy, and so the USB paused, and then the copy went, I don't know what's going on, and it crashed out. RoboCopy won't do that. It's a more robust form of copying. So if there's an issue, it will hang on. It'll wait. When things start happening again, it'll continue on. So RoboCopy, but that in the long run is maybe the hard way to do it. If you Google RoboCopy, you can find Microsoft's documents about how to use it. It's in a command line, and you're going to be typing RoboCopy source destination, like that. And it's the old. Did you ever use DOS?
Many years ago.
Yeah. Well, welcome home. DOS is back, baby. It's an old DOS command. However, there are other ways to do this. My favorite way to do it on an iPhone or an Android phone is a free program from Google called Google Photos.
Yes, I had a feeling you were going to suggest that. I've tried it, and I love it so far. I don't want to lose any pixels or anything.
Well, that's right. Unless you can tell it, and you'll then have to pay for the storage. You can say I want the originals backed up, but then you have to pay for Google Drive storage, which is very affordable. I mean, it's not expensive. I think I pay $100 a year for 2 terabytes. That should be enough to last you forever. But so that's right. But I also have to say, and you should check it out, the JPEGs that Google Photos makes of my originals are indistinguishable. They say we're going to squeeze them, and they squeeze them a little bit, but they don't really damage the photos. If you want every pixel, you're going to have to say copy the originals and pay for whatever storage. Otherwise, it's free. And the nice thing about it is you can then you can go to photos.google.com on your desktop. You can download them. You can look at them. It's backed up now, right? Because Google's not going to lose them. So you're basically making a backup of your photos. That's why I use it. There are other solutions that are similar to that. Flickr offers you a free terabyte. If you're an Amazon Prime customer, they have free unlimited photo storage as well. So there are
Amazon Prime.
Do you have Amazon Prime?
Yes.
Get the Amazon Photos app. It'll do the same thing without compressing the photos.
And will that be on my home computer, my desktop?
Yeah, because yes. It'll be anywhere you want it to be. It won't actually copy the originals there. It'll store them in the cloud, just as Google's doing, but you'll be able to get them from the cloud if you want on your desktop. So that's another. I would do both. I mean, use RoboCopy and do both, but it's nice to have a cloud backup of your photos. It sounds like you care a lot about your photos.
Yeah, and I do, and I am a member of Carbonite. I have subscribed to that because of you, so I use that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, I have to apologize. Flickr has ended that terabyte. Now it's just 1,000 photos. That sounds like it's not going to be enough for you. So
I have 3,000 on my phone right now. I'm trying to transfer.
Yeah, the nice thing about the Google Photos is once they're backed up, there's a setting in the Google's Photos you could say, now delete everything that's backed up and recover a lot of storage on your iPhone.
That I've been seeing that because I do actually have Google Photos.
Yeah.
I got a little nervous because a couple times I went to the app on my phone and it said that it was unable to back up. There was only minimal files, like maybe 12 of them.
The reason there's a couple of reasons that happens. One, because of the way the iPhone works, it won't let photos run in the background for very long. So unfortunately on an iPhone, you have to open it every once in a while and have it back up. There may be photos if it can't back up because they're in an unusual format. I don't know.
That's what it said.
Yeah. Yeah, that may be an issue with that. I'm not sure why. Yeah.
Because I use different apps on my phone. If I take a video, I might use a video editing app.
That's why.
Add a couple videos.
Yeah, so that saved it in a format. That's exactly what happened. It saved it in a format that Google Photos doesn't understand. It wants some JPEGs to be JPEGs, basically.
Yeah.
I use Google Photos even when I'm taking pictures with my fancy DSLRs. I'll copy it over to the phone because then I have a backup. As I'm traveling, I have a backup. And worst case scenario, lose the camera, lose my phone, lose everything. I'll still have a copy that's up in the cloud, and that's nice to have. But if you really want to save the originals, look at Amazon Photos.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, since you're already paying for Prime, it's just another feature for unlimited full-resolution photo storage if you have a Prime account, and they are on iOS and Android.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, this has been a nightmare. It's like I sit down, I plug my phone in, I go down and watch TV. I come back 2 hours later.
You're learning what a lot of Windows users are learning. Microsoft's copy routine is not very robust. It's terrible. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It just fails all the time. On big, long copies, that's the problem. And Amazon's, first of all, they've got a lot of storage. But second of all, they want you to then buy stuff and, full, unlimited, full resolution online photo storage. And then, but it's only stills, 5 gigabytes free video storage. You can save and share your photos desktop, mobile, and tablet. Share unlimited photo storage with up to 5 other people in your family. Share photos with anybody, whether they're a Prime member or not. It's a pretty good deal. In fact, I wonder how long they're going to keep that going. That's an awfully good deal. They do not have to have a Prime account. You do, though. Isn't that amazing, Lou? Yeah. Yeah. I think we're really we're going to rapidly enter the AI era. I don't think they erase them, but I think they probably will say something like, "Yeah, in 6 months we're going to erase them." They want you to stay a member, right? Of course they do. Of course they do. It's disco time. All right, Dickie DeBartolo, Mads Mattistrider, and the Gizwiz. Can you name that tune?
Oh, I thought it was That's the Way I Like It. If it's not.
No, I don't think so. Shall we ask? Shall we go to the Big Pee Wee and find out?
Yeah.
Big Pee Wee, what's the name of this? Rick James, You and I.
Okay.
Once he starts singing, you kind of recognize it.
Yeah.
We play disco for one reason only. Because we like it. No. Well, that is true. 2 reasons. And because it's the theme song for Dick DeBartolo, Mads Mattistrator, and our gizmo wizard, the man we call the Gizwiz. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how you doing, pal?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Great. Thank you.
What's up in Disneyland?
Well, you know what? I have a fun new gadget from Zuru. Now, I think you and I played with something they came out with like 4 years ago called the Buncho Balloons. Do you remember this?
I know the name Zuru. I feel like I know the name Zuru.
Okay. Buncho Balloons was 30 balloons that were attached to a little nozzle that you screwed onto the hose. And in a minute, you blew up 30 water balloons.
Oh, this was the worst. I remember this vividly.
Yes, and they pop off, and the rubber bands are on them and everything.
Yes.
So kids could play water balloon
Fill
fight.
40 water balloons in 40 seconds.
Yeah. No, this is the new thing now, Leo.
Oh, the new one.
This is new. Now, no water involved here. This is great if you're going to have a party at the studio, okay? This is Bunch of Balloons Party Pack.
See, the water was the problem with the water balloon. This might work better.
This works better. Okay. All right. That was more kids. This is for adults, people having parties. So it's actually very clever. So each set of 8 balloons comes on a stem.
Yeah.
And you get this electric inflator. And if you want 8 balloons, you plug in 1 set. If you want 16 balloons, you plug in 2 sets. If you want 24 balloons, you plug in 3 sets. And in 40 seconds...
What?
This electric pump blows them up, and they are already sealed. And then you just cut the little hose part off.
They're ready to go.
You're ready to go. I did this in the backyard Memorial Day, and they're still inflated. I brought some into Disneyland. And I think the price is very reasonable. The starter kit, which is for now only available at Walmart, is either $17 or $18. You get the electric pump. The pump includes accessories, so you can also blow up an air mattress or water toys. And you get 16 balloons. You get the little hose if you need it. You can also hook it up to a helium tank. And they come in many colors. I think it's a very clever idea if you're a party person. And that is you.
Now the Party City's going out of business. I think we need to make our own party.
Yeah, I think you can.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
45 Party City stores are closing. You know why? A helium shortage. They're running.
Are you serious?
We're running out of helium. So,
oh my gosh,
it's used not just for balloons, for MRI machines and superconducting. It's used in welding.
Gosh,
but the CEO,
Disneyland blimp is doomed.
Yes. So we've been wasting apparently helium on party balloons. So everybody, you should run out and get the Buncho Balloons party pack. And put air in these things.
Just uses air.
Just uses something we've got a little bit more of.
Yes.
Than helium.
I don't know for how long, but yeah.
Well, God, I hope we don't run out of air. Then we'll have to do more than close Party City. I can tell you that right now. If you want to know more about this, you go to Dick's website. He's the GizWiz, so we call it gizwiz.biz, GIZWIZ.biz. And that's where you'll click on the button that says the GizWiz visits the tech guy, and you'll find links to the Buncho Balloons party pack and a fabulous video featuring Dick filling up balloons in his backyard. But if you also want to play the What the Heck Is It contest, you can do that. Just go there and click the What the Heck Is It, and you'll see a close-up of a gizmo or a gadget. If you can identify it, you will be in the running for an autographed copy of Mad Magazine, whether you're right or not. By the way, what is that shirt you're wearing in the video?
Oh, my travel shirt. It's
your travel shirt.
Car, yes. I don't travel, so I just have a travel shirt.
I was going to say, when you travel, you wear that shirt? No, it just has traveling on the shirt.
Exactly. It's cheaper and no lines.
And lower dry cleaning costs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dickie D, always a pleasure. GizWiz.biz. Don't forget his great podcast with Chad Johnson, where you'll hear all sorts of crazy stuff. GizWiz.tv every week. GizWiz.tv. Thank you, Dickie D.
Thank you, buddy. I'll see you next week.
See you next week. I think I have time for one more call. How about Veronica in Irvine, California? Hi, Veronica.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm calling. I have a question. I'm wanting to get the Chromebook.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if the Chromebook is compatible with your home server.
Yeah.
Service that you get from home.
Sure. You mean your internet service?
Right.
Yes. You have Wi-Fi, wireless connectivity at home?
That's what I wanted to get, because you have to have it for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could get a physical wire adapter, but that's not commonly used on Chromebooks. Typically, they'll use wireless internet or Wi-Fi. Do you have an internet service provider right now?
Yes.
Okay.
But what I was going to get was, I don't need a lot of service, and I was going to get the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Wi-Fi, they'll put a box in your house with antennas on it, and then it'll work with your phone if you have a smartphone, but it'll also work with your Chromebook if you have a Chromebook. And yes, it works very well with Wi-Fi.
Oh, can I ask one more question?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Is it also very safe?
Yes, and so I often recommend these. Now, you're familiar with computers like the Macintosh or Windows PCs that are running, in the case of the Macintosh, an operating system called Mac OS. In the case of the PCs, they're running an operating system called Windows. Your operating system is a program that's always running on the computer that lets you run other programs, access files, do all the things you do with a computer. The problem is both Macintosh and Windows are what we call general purpose operating systems. That means they're set up so that you can do pretty much anything from launch rocket ships to watch TV to create movies. And I think for a lot of people, that general purpose means it's going to be more complex and you asked the big question, less secure. A Chromebook is also an operating system. The operating system it uses is called Chrome OS. It comes from Google. It's based on their Chrome browser, but what's nice about Chrome OS is it doesn't do everything. It basically just supports anything you can do online. So if what you use your computer for is to surf the net, to do your banking, to do email, watch Netflix, that kind of thing, a Chromebook is a much better choice. It can't get viruses. If there's ever a problem, you can easily restart it, wipe it, start from scratch. It stores everything on your Google account. So if you have a Google account, it's I think a great choice. And they're lots less expensive. Right now, my favorite Chromebook is the Asus Chromebook Flip. It's about $500, but you can pay even less. They're much less expensive than Windows and Macintosh computers. So I think everybody should absolutely consider a Chromebook. If it'll do what you need, it's a very good choice. Out of time, but hey, thanks to Big Pee-wee, our musical director, our phone angel, Kim Schaffer. Thanks to you for joining me. Wouldn't be the same if you weren't here. So will you join me again next time? All right. Don't forget the website, Tech Guy Labs, is there with all the questions, all the answers, even audio and video of the shows after the fact. And that's always free. No sign up needed. TechGuyLabs.com. Have a very nice weekend. Enjoy the summer weather. Enjoy your June. I'll see you next time. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.